So Pluto has just gone direct in Aquarius. Let's talk about what this means for society, because if you look back at November of 2024, that's when a whole bunch of crazy stuff started to happen, and that is when Pluto entered into Aquarius. So now that Pluto is direct in Aquarius and we're done with the first retrograde all the way through Aquarius, we did not go back into Capricorn, we're gonna expect some changes. Something to keep in mind about Pluto retrogrades is that a lot of the times we are undoing contracts. We're undoing exchanges, we're no longer taking part in exchanges, and really we just get to say, that's it, I'm done. However that might have worked for you on a personal level, probably gonna be just a little bit different than maybe your neighbor or the people who are around you. Although not too different, as Aquarius does have to do with society, right? It has to do with all of us. Now, something to note about the way society moves, we're gonna focus on society here. We're gonna talk about other personal placements in other spaces and videos, but for now, society, right? With Aquarius, one of the things to remember is that sometimes the authority is above all of us. The spirits, nature, anything that you could believe in that is bigger than humanity and bigger than the generations that come before us. There's a lot of different things you could believe in and that are already active in the world that have to do with that. So discernment on your part, how that participates in your practice. Also, though, with Aquarius, our authority, there's a lot of will and authority that Spirit has given to us on a personal level. And with Aquarius, a lot of the times it's being reminded, a reminder that that authority is not always in our hands. Sometimes it is in the hands of the spirits above us. And sometimes it is within our own power and our own will and our own authority. So it's a lot of us figuring out, how do we work with that? What does that look like? How am I going to take part in those changes? What already has been set on the course in those changes because of the things that are bigger than us? There's a lot to take into consideration on a very philosophical level if you sit and think about it for a while. I know I sit and think about that quite often. But sort of moving on from that, let's go back to society for a moment. What? The world has been crazy, wild, literally what the heck, since Pluto moved into Aquarius all the way November of 2024. Now, this is the first retrograde that we're out of now that we experienced with Pluto in Aquarius that we didn't go back into Capricorn. So all of these new laws, I'm talking about more America specifically, but relate as necessary to your place and your space. All these new laws and new things that are being introduced, which are maybe not so new, but maybe very old. And then we're seeing all of this pushback. Okay, no, we're not going back to that. I do not keep the contract with that. So there's this kind of tug of war that's happening. I don't even know if I want to call it that because I don't really want to make jokes about it because it's a really serious thing that's happening. Allegorically speaking, though, I think that might be one of the most simplest ways to put it. There is a back and forth. The authority of man-made institution, the authority of man, and how man flows within that institution are butting heads right now. And we have to keep in mind that there's a bigger plan that we really do not understand that is above all of our heads. It's a lot. As Pluto is direct now on a societal level, we are going to see more of a compounding of interest, okay? Now that we have this back and forth tug of war, the butting of heads that has been going on while Pluto has been retrograde. Now with Pluto direct, it's more about construction, reconstruction. It's not as deconstructive. This is a great time to get together with your community, the places that you know that you're able to make change and push forward in a new direction. Pluto retrogrades, while we are in Aquarius, are going to be more about going back and unbinding, unwinding, looking at things that society has done before us and making sure that we don't return to the places that we do not want to be. And in moving forward during Pluto direct, almost, and I don't want to say this from a place of ignorance because we do need to continue to witness what is happening, but it's almost saying, okay, I have to honor what is happening in the new direction. I need to put my focus there. I need to focus on that. And I don't have time to look back at these things that have been done. We need to focus on progress. We also have to keep in mind with Aquarius that if we don't work together, it is just not going to work. That's part of Aquarius, is being able to see super far into the future and make change and have progress. But simultaneously, there has to be agreements made so that structure can be built. And without that, not a lot gets done. It's still Saturn oriented within our astrological world. So getting together with your communities, deciding on what you're going to build until Pluto goes retrograde again in 2026, which is May 6th for anybody wondering. It's time to start some forward motion again. I also want to note on a personal level and as someone who works with the collective and sees a lot of trends shifting, one of the things that I've been paying attention to kind of since Pluto went into Aquarius is this question about justice. What does it mean? How do we interact with it? What authority really creates justice? justice does, right? But like in terms of how we interact with that on the earth, there's been a lot of questions, a lot of leeway, a lot of, what is this really? So I think that as a society, our discernment, our construction, our deliberation possibly also, and our interaction with justice is going to be very different over the coming several months as Pluto is direct and continues to move direct, especially as we move through Scorpio season and we're seeing a completely new time. This is the first Scorpio season, and we'll talk about this more in another video, but it's the first Scorpio season that we're seeing where Pluto is in Aquarius the entire time in our lifetime. It's gonna be kind of a wild one. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep doing the work you need to do. If you've noticed any interesting changes in society that you feel are noteworthy that have to do with Aquarius related things, let me know. I'd love to hear the interaction and what you've been paying attention to. Also true. And for those of you who have been messaging me and worried about me, I am alive, I'm doing well. I moved. We're in a new space now. And I didn't just move like across town. I moved like a really far ways away. So that's what I'll say about it. But it took a lot of energy and it took a lot of time. So I've been doing that, and I've also been recovering and resting. But I'm back now. Hello, what's up? And I'm super excited to get into this kind of new energy. So feeling different, feeling lifted, feeling a little bit gifted also. Thanks for the patience in my return, and I'm grateful to be here. You know what? It's really the truth. I can feel a lot of like buzzing or sparks around, just a little bit. It's my first day back to like work stuff since I've moved in, so it took a while to get everything set up, but here we are. We're ready to go. And we've got some change on the way, so you know what? You know where to find me if you need me. I'll be here. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. I'll talk to you soon. That is also true.